As a child, I was really bright. I was always academically very strong. And I went to one of the finest engineering colleges in this country. By the time I was 25, I had built a great life for myself. I was working at Kalari Capital, one of the pioneering venture capital firms in this country. And I was very happy in my little startup bubble. And I was fully aware that many young people in this country would kill to have the job that I had. And with consistent and highly encouraging performance reviews from my boss, I knew that I was set on a path for success. During the summer of a very busy year, I managed to take some time off to attend my best friend's wedding in the north of India. At the wedding, I was uniquely dressed in my South Indian attire, and as a result, I piqued the interest of many of my friends' cousins from the nearby towns and villages. So these girls would come up to me and start asking me questions out of curiosity. For example, a set of girls came up to me and they said, Didi, aap kitne saal ki ho? And when I told them that I was 25, they would say, Didi, you're 25? Ab shadi kab karogi? Are your parents not worried? Are they not looking out for you? And when I said no, they're not, they would get astounded. Another set of girls would come up to me and they would start asking me questions and they would say, Didi, आप कितना पैसा बनाती हो? आप all the way Bangalore से यहाँ तक अकेली आई हो? You went abroad alone? So no matter who came up to me, there was a pattern to the kind of questions that these young girls were asking me. And to be honest, I was confused. I was thinking, why are these girls asking me questions like this? Have they never seen a working woman before? But I kept answering their questions anyway. And in the next 2 days, I obviously made friends with all these girls. And at that point in time, something more interesting began to unravel. So now, these girls would tell me, Didi, मुझे dentist बनना है, but my parents want me to get married next year. How do you think I should convince them not to do that? And one girl asked me, Didi, I want, like you, I want a job in Bombay or Delhi. How should I apply? Where should I look up online? Didi, can you please teach me how to write a resume? And I was thinking, why are these girls asking me these questions? Aren't the answers to these questions just a Google search away? They can just Google this up. The wedding ended, and I was back in Bangalore, and I got busy with my normal life. However, those girls, their innocent faces, their unjaded outlook to life, and all of their questions just kept bothering me. And I reached out to nearby colleges and started meeting more teenage girls. And I also volunteered to help young girls at a local NGO. And I learned that when you talk about role models for young women, the word relatability is key. If I showed those girls that I met in the north of India, let's say somebody like a Zia Modi, or let's say somebody like a Kiran Shaw, or maybe even Naina Lal Kidwai, these young girls are going to say, Didi, she's amazing, we get that, but Didi, she's from a different planet. I can't relate to her. She intimidates me, right? But if I showed these young girls somebody who's just a step or two away from where she is in her life journey, then they get the courage and the confidence to say, sure, I can get there. I can do this too. And I also found out that only 27% of India's working age women have jobs. And if you take professional services, the percentages are much, much, much smaller. Did you know that India has less than 100 female neurosurgeons across generations? Or did you know that women make up only 14% of the research and scientific community. Or I'm sure you've read all the recent newspaper articles which talk about how India is leading the world in the percentage points of flight commanders and flight pilots that we employ. And it's at 12%. But is 12% equal to 50%? No. Indian women are getting educated at never seen rate, but however, that is not translating directly into workforce participation. And that's a problem that we need to solve. Imagine what would happen if women participated in workforce on par with men. Imagine. So thus began my journey of uncovering the journeys of Didi's next door for every Indian young woman. And that's the genesis of my first book, Wonder Girls. During my research, I have not just met millennial career women from the big cities, I've also interviewed girls from the hinterlands. So, be it Surat, Sikkim, Nanded, Vijayawada, and Jabalpur. And I've realized after spending several hundreds of hours with all of these women that there are patterns that lead to success. And the good news with patterns is that they can be replicated. So before I share those patterns with you, I would like to invite on stage Neha Pardeshi, the captain of India's rugby team, to come share her journey with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. How many of you here recognize this egg-shaped, weird-looking ball? Can you all tell me? What is this? Yes, this is a rugby ball. One fine day, I was just at home and I got a call from some random lady, and it turned out to be Varsha. She calls me and she asks me, Neha, I would like you to be a part of my writings. I was like, why? Why would you want me to be a part of your writing? I'm not a cricketer. I'm not even that famous. Why would you want me to be in your journey? She tried to convince me that I would be able to relate to women out there. I kept the phone and in rejection initially, and I started thinking and introspecting my life. Going back to my earlier days, rugby came into my life exactly the way it came into existence. One young kid from rugby, the town rugby, while he was playing football, he suddenly decided, because he was so irritated, that he decided to pick up the ball and he started running towards the goal line. And the audience was wondering, why is he doing that? But they loved what he did. People were running at him and they loved the action. So thus came rugby as a sport. Similarly, when I was playing in school various sports, an African coach came up to me and asked me whether I wanted to go and watch the Pune women playing the Hong Kong Hotties. I said, why not? I went and watched the game, and while I was watching the game, I started thinking कि ये कर क्या रहे हैं? ये मारा मारी क्या चालू है? I didn't understand anything at that time, but I was really, really fascinated with the way they were tackling, with the way they were playing. I came back and I decided to give this sport a shot. Right after my 10th standard, I went and I was on the field at 6 a.m. I made my first tackle and I fell in love with this game. This sport is very unique. In order to play, in order to go forward, you have to take your entire team. You can't, unlike football, where you pass it to the striker and the striker scores the goal, you can't do that. The main thing about this is you can't pass forward, you always pass backwards. So one person can't go and score a try. It's the entire team that goes forward. And that keeps me going. This entire culture keeps me going every day that I play this sport. Now, as an athlete, as a player, there are n number of challenges that one has to face. And so did I. Unless you're a cricketer, you can't earn money. There is no money in rugby. So I had to keep making choices whether I wanted to continue playing for India or whether I wanted to work and earn myself, because I come from a middle class family in Pune and we don't have extra money to splurge. So while I was in college, I decided to take up a part-time job in a restaurant because I wanted to support my dreams. So my days used to be morning practice, then college, then practice again, and end it, and then rinse and repeat. After my college, I had again a choice to make whether I wanted to take up a job, a 9-10 hour job, and that's it, or whether I wanted to play. Because playing for the country is not a small thing, right? So I started wondering कि मेरे को क्या करना है, what am I going to do, what should I do? So I decided that no matter what, I can't give this up. I took up a job as well because I couldn't be a burden on my family. I started working and I tried to justify my playing. So again, my schedule used to be training, 9-10 hour job, training again, and end the day. Very recently, just a few months ago, I had to take one of the biggest decisions of my life. It was whether I wanted to continue working or whether I wanted to go and play the Asian Games, which happens once in 4 years. Now, while I was going back and forth, because playing the Asian Games, I had to attend a camp for 2 to 3 months, whether I wanted to go that, and that meant I had to leave my job because I couldn't take leave. While going back and forth कि मुझे करना क्या है, what should I do, what after I finish playing, what is going to happen after I come back from this game. I remember having a call with my dad and I explained the situation and I told him, maybe I should just let this time go and continue my work because I need it. I need the finances. And he told me that these dreams, they're not coming back. Dreams spoil. Jobs will come and go. But these dreams are not going to come back to you again. This is the opportunity and you need to take it. So I decided that, okay, I can't let this go. I will go for it. When we were in the camp for the Asian Games, we were getting ready, we were training 7-6 hours a day, and we were all ready to leave. That's when we got a message from one of the government people saying, rugby has been removed from the Indian contingent. And we were shattered. I remember all of us were sitting in one room and looking at each other, we were just crying. We were like, what now? Ab kya kare? Because like me, all my teammates had also left and a lot of things and there was a lot at stake. So what to do now? Everybody was sad and I was sad. But as a captain, I knew I couldn't be sad. I remembered the biggest lesson that rugby has taught me in my life. Every time I get knocked down, I get tackled, I need to get back up and go again. And that's exactly what we did. The very next day, I told them, we need to get ready and we need to shake it off and go for it. The next day, we were on the field practicing for the next coming tournament. Very recently, we played the Asian Trophy and we stood in the top 5. And every time I'm playing, I always remember what my father said, that dreams spoil. So when you have the chance to take it, just go for it. Thank you.
Thank you, Neha, for sharing your journey. Now, the big question that lies ahead of all of us is, how do we create 500 million Wonder Girls for India? Now, success is a result of both extrinsic as well as intrinsic qualities. While women are on par with men on intrinsic qualities such as drive, hard work, and resilience, today I would like to present to you 3 extrinsic factors that lead to success. Factor 1, strong parenting. All of you, parents in the audience, can make a significant difference and you can enable creation of Wonder Girls. Several research studies point out that there's a strong correlation between parenting and female child's ambition and future success. And strong parenting is always not about money or resources. Sometimes it is just about nurturing. For example, You can be the dad that drove your child to the playground every morning at 6 a.m. because you know that it is your child's passion, it is your daughter's dream to play for the country, just like Neha's father did every day. Or you can be the mother who goes to your daughter who's suffering from a back numbing injury. You go to her every day and say, get right back up. You have it in you to do this. Get right back up. Factor number two is access to role models. The role modeling effect is real. One of the women I've interviewed, Rucha, her grandfather had exposed her very early on to scores of books and scores of movies. And as a result, she has exposed herself to numerous role models, all pursuing diverse careers with a lot of passion. And at the age of 14, she saw a movie in which she saw a flight commander. And she said to herself, wow, that's what I want to be when I grow up. And fast forward 20 years, she is not only a flight commander, but she has also amassed 10,000 hours of flying in her kitty. So that's what role modeling can do. So if you know any woman, whether it's in your family or in your team, do introduce her to role models. Doesn't matter if the role model is real or fictional, it all counts. Factor three is men as supporters. All of you men in the audience today can be game changers. If women have to make advancements in male dominated fields, and today most careers are, they need men who are better peers, sponsors, coaches, bosses, and mentors. KV Kamath at ICICI has revolutionized leadership by creating a large corp of female CEOs in the banking world, and he has set a benchmark for the world to emulate. Each one of you can do that too. So, really, to create Wonder Girls, we can all play a role by being better parents, better friends, partners, supporters, and better managers. And it's just not a moral or a social imperative, it's an economic imperative to bring more of India's women to work. Somebody once said to me, Varsha, imagine flying a plane with two engines and one of the engines never works. Does it make sense? Not so much, right? So let's begin the work to fix the problem that's in front of us. Thank you.